So, just going to quickly talk about, well, basically primitivism and why technology is the future, why we should accept that it's just superior to the natural world. And if you want to define nature by stuff that's man-made because we're a product of nature, then that's not the definition I'm using, and your opinion is not included here. Anyways, so my argument against primitivism, and I don't know, I've seen a lot of people recently going for veganism movements and, self-sustainable movements, and those are all good things, but I've seen a lot of people in those same movements going for just completely natural living, this idea of, living without electricity, living in the woods and this kind of thing. This kind of idealization is just complete fantasy in reality, because honestly I can't see many people who actually purely do this and have been doing this and living like this and enjoying it, to be honest. I see a lot of people, who might have been living in cities or might live in a town or a small village and live quite far quite far in the countryside and think they're living deep in nature, or people living in cities and towns and going away for a 3-day to a 1-week camping trip, with supplies or maybe without supplies to survive. But it is not the same as really fighting against the elements all day, every day. You need to fight against, depending where you are, against hydration or dehydration. There's too much or too little water pretty much everywhere. If there isn't a water source, you're pretty well fucking dead. GG. Bacteria, growing crops, hunting animals, making sure things aren't too wet or not too wet, because that rot and that damp and that bacteria will come in and it'll kill you. And I lived in the forest myself, actually lived in the jungle, sorry. And it's not a realistic prospect to actually just live in the wild, completely alone, or in a community in the wild, without electricity or modern technology or medicine. It's dangerous, and it's only fun when you begin it, because you have these sort of Western ideas that it's really awesome to live in the jungle or the forest because it's so natural. And after a month or so, you realise it's just suffering. You're working 8 hours a day minimum to stay alive. You're not really that healthy compared to how you are outside. You get adjusted to it. Your stomach, your immune system becomes extremely effective, but you still get ill a hell of a lot more than you would outside of society, just because there's just much more fucking bacteria out there. There are better sort of conditions for bacteria to survive. Your body's working against the elements constantly. It's really testing you, yeah. So for these reasons, personally, I don't think it's so great to this idea of a natural life and natural living. Sustainable living, ecological living. Those are good ideas, but just reverting back to the wild is going back to being cave people, going back to primitivism. It's just not a great idea. I mean, it means that we halt a lot of progress that we've made, but it's just not that enjoyable, really. There's a reason why we built societies to protect us from the wild. It's because it's really not that fucking great getting ill and dying in the middle of the wild. Honestly, it's a romanticized idea when you live in a city, but in the real world, that doesn't feel nice. It's just suffering for nothing. And so for that reason, I'm quite against a lot of primitive movements, and quite for technological movements. The reason why, another reason why, is because technology is, and probably always or probably will become more efficient than a lot of natural processes. So what I mean by this is, computers now, they're probably not as smart as chimps or whatever, but there's a lot of things they can do in a lot of respects that just natural things can't do. Another example is like in your kitchen, yeah. All the stuff that you have to cook in a kitchen is far superior than starting a fire with just flint. Not a tinder box, because that is a human construction. and making your wooden bowls and that kind of stuff that are going to degrade, they're not useful. The same as well with industrial washing agents, are far more effective at washing clothing than just dumping your water into a river and waiting for it to dry. I've seen that in real life. I know what that's like. I've lived that life. And it's not just that. I think the pleasure we get from computers and the pleasure that we get, or certainly that I experience from gaming and such, they're things that can't be experienced in real life, because in real life they're not so great. Like, for example, if me and you play Call of Duty now, we can have a lot of fun killing each other, really getting that aggression out. In the real world, not many people actually enjoy it. A lot of people, from the army may say they do, because they're scarred and they're trying to sort of have a bit of pride. A very small percentage of them are actually just psychos and do enjoy killing people. But most people in actual real world war situations are just scared, upset and sick of watching people die all the time and wish they'd never bothered. That's the reality of warfare. It's not a nice thing, and you can't you can't experience that on a game. This is the thing. Computer games, you get to experience the best computer games. Yeah. Another thing we've got from technology, like medicine, for example. Yeah. We live a lot longer now, thanks to having medicine. There's a lot of bacteria that we can live against, and living conditions can be improved through medicine. And any of you guys who come on this channel and take drugs and enjoy taking drugs and enjoy that lifestyle, you can't say that medicine and modern technology has not given you any benefit, because it's just not true. Those drugs are a product of modern medicine and modern technology. That's what drugs are. It's the same with before. We had to live and suffer in pain, when we were ill. Now you can just take painkillers. It's simple. You can just improve your life. You can take painkillers. Yeah. It's also a thing of like, how would I explain it? Like, yeah, just that alleviating pain factor. That they used to have surgery without anaesthetic back in the days. If you were ill or you fucked up, they just chop your leg off with no anesthesia. I saw the medical procedures in the British History Museum. It's fucking grim. It's fucking grim. People still do that in some third world countries, and you see them and they can do that, and it's like, wow, I wish I was tough enough to do that. That's some real respect and cultural advancement there. That's really cool. And you think that's such a better way, but there's a reason why we're not doing that, and we don't go to our doctors and say, hey, I'd like it if you could just, instead of giving me painkillers, just drill a hole into me here for about 20 minutes and I'll just scream in pain and cry whilst you do it. Because it's awful and we're suffering unnecessarily. So, medicine is one of those things that have improved, I don't know, a lot of aspects of our lives. Even like the sound on a computer, like, when I'm here with my computer without my headphones, the sound quality's, it's like real life sounds. It's not fine tuned, it's all right, but it's not the best, yeah. But when I put my headphones in, the rest of the world is gone, and all of the sound quality that I could possibly hope for suddenly springs forth from my computer, yeah. You don't really get sounds that rich in nature, I don't believe. Sometimes in the jungle you get sounds that rich, but the sounds that can be made electronically, the music that we've made electronically, I don't really think it can be replicated by nature. I don't think it can be easily replicated, Cars, that kind of thing, driving, planes. Technology is just so much better than living a life without technology, and I honestly believe that the future is not in going back into naturalism and, respecting Mother Earth. I'd like it if we respected Mother Earth, because it's probably vital to our survival at this moment in time. I just don't think going all the way back is a great idea. Anyways, sorry about that one rant. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and see you another time.